Hello viewers, it's Super GT here once again. Now, this week we are doing some action in the Huracan Lamborghinis. So this is the reward for getting the 6 Lamborghinis from the previous weeks in the Rivals events and the League events. So this car was a little bit different compared to the other, compared to the Gallardo. A little bit trickier to handle. It seems to want to oversteer a little bit. And this is one of the first races I did around Hockenheim. These two guys quite kindly parting ways and let me go through the middle into first place. In the end, this race was a fairly easy win, although the guy who was in second there did actually follow me through on most laps, giving me quite a lot of pressure to the end. Then we went along to Indianapolis. This was a very good race. So started in 8th position, tucking into the slipstream straight away. The slipstream seems to work a little better in these cars compared to the Gallardos in the previous league. So going into turn 1, we've got our usual chaos and everyone's going to go a bit wide there, so I'll gain about 3 or 4 positions. An orange guy comes around the outside, but I managed to fend him off. These two guys are going to go side by side in battle, and this guy on the inside is going to make a bit of contact, go sideways, which gives me his position. Coming through here, me and Ivor Big and make a bit of contact. I'm not sure I did anything wrong there. I think he was trying to turn in a little bit too early and I was sort of alongside already. Perhaps he didn't realise. But anyway, moving forwards up into 3rd, so I've gained 5 already. We can go back of that Sam kid as we go into the infield straight. At the end of the straight, it's got a very weird corner where I'm not actually sure where you're meant to take the curb. So I was braking for that curb on the right hand side there and go a little bit too late into the back of Sam, but just hold back off the throttle, make sure he regains his second position. So coming through, this corner here is quite important on this track. You really have to go over that curb to maximise your speed onto this straight. I had to slow down a bit there because Sam was a little bit slow off the turn, so I had to hold back off the throttle. And he goes very wide there, almost clipping the wall, but I managed to get through into second position as we go around the banking for the first time of 5. So that's a very good first lap. You don't really get much better than going from 8th to 2nd. I obviously could have got first, but there's still 4 laps left to do that. So that guy taking a very wide line halfway around lap 2, around that weird corner. And again, coming up to the penultimate turn on the track, probably the most important one in many ways. And you see how much speed I gain against the guy in the lead. So just about go to the inside. He sort of moves across very late to give me the room. And unfortunately for him, he goes flying into the wall. People in the lobby weren't sure whether that was my fault, but you know, he sort of just went wide. It's not my fault that made a bit of a mistake there. But the race goes on in first position now. So 3 laps remaining. Now it's a very good race between myself and EMW Ivor Biggin. I couldn't quite get this first sector right. I kept getting this second corner a little bit too hot on the entry, which meant I had a poor exit. Fortunately on this lap, Ivor Biggin wasn't right on my tail. But on this lap, lap number 4, there's a little bit of a different story. So coming in again to turn 1, getting a little bit too wide from the apex, which does slow me down. The car goes a little bit sideways as well, and he's only 20 feet behind, so I'll go a little bit defensive here. Keep it on the apex so he can't do a cut back. Looking at the distance meter thing on the left hand side always, just to judge exactly where he is without actually having to look behind. If you do want a guide on defensive driving, I do have one in the channel. It's about a week old now, so just look for it in my recent videos and you should be able to find it. But anyway, back to this race. In first position still at the halfway mark of lap 4. We have got good pressure though from Ivor Biggin, and we have had for pretty much half the race. Through this little twisty section here, I like to go to the left hand side coming out of this one, which gives you a good run through the final turn, or penultimate turn I should say. And coming into turn 1 on the start of the final lap, again Ivor Biggin's going to get a very good run through this turn. I go a little bit too fast in and too slow out, and you can see he's right behind me there, so I'm going to go a little bit too narrow, or not too narrow, a little narrow, so he can't do a cutback overtake on me. And again, it has worked. So if you have someone right behind you like that, you can just go very narrow, park it on the apex. There's nothing they can do really unless they just ram you out of the way. And this is entirely fair driving from the pair of us. So he could have easily just, ran me out of the way, but he understands fair driving as well when he sees it, so he's going to race fairly. And it was actually a very good race between the two of us, I thought. And we had a few races like this in this lobby. It's coming into the final sector of the race, getting over the curb nicely there to maximise your speed through this section. Again, going over to the left hand side before going over the curb to maximise your speed onto the straight. And from here there's no chance that he can get past me unless he gets some absolutely mega slipstream or something, which doesn't usually happen by the time you get to the start line. You normally get slipstreamed into turn 1, not by the time you get to the start line. So round the final turn, and we're going to win that race. Quite a convincing race. Remember, of course, you're trying to set a quick lap time at the same time to give yourself a better position on the grid for the next race, and you can get into a nice sort of routine. If you get on pole and you can get away, you set yourself another clean lap, and then you get pole for the next race, and you can get in a chain like that. I had a good 3 or 4 races where I was on pole or at the front and winning races, and you can get a lot more points that way. So the next race we moved to Sonoma. 2 guys going wide there, giving me another 2 positions for free, keeping the inside line here to maintain 8th position. The lag wasn't the best in this race, so I was very careful to try and not get too close to too many people. Another guy goes wide on the right hand side there, go around his outside into 7th, coming into turn number 4 I believe it is. These 2 guys make contact, so I get past one of them and into the right hander. I'm just going to poke my nose in there and let him know that I'm there, and he does give me the room, so I'm going to go for a little cut back into the infield left-hander. Doesn't quite carry off though. As we come through the exit, didn't have the best exit there, I was a bit late, so look behind, this guy's going to come flying through, so I'm going to get on the inside line. He's going to cut across and make contact just about, if anything only took himself out, so not the best braking zone from him, but they're giving me back 6th position. Now this section here, I really love this section, this left-right combo, but this chicane here really does cause a lot of trouble. So I'm going to go around the outside of this guy. He's going to brake a little bit too late, which forces me over the grass. But I think I was going to be past there, so I'm going to keep that position. I was slightly ahead as we went there, so I'm going to go defensive into the final turn. So of course you have to remember which configuration of Sonoma you're doing. Don't be that guy who goes off the other way thinking that you're doing the wrong configuration. So now as we head on to lap number 2 of 4, we've got 3 laps left. Let's see what damage we can do from here. That is either big and ahead, going very wide, sliding across. I didn't know exactly where he was going to come back onto the track, so I go a little bit too wide there, but somehow I gained a position out of all of that. I thought I was going to go off. This is the situation at the end of lap number 2. Caught up with a Frenchman and a German in 3rd and 2nd, going through the chicane, not actually cutting it, which is quite rare. And this is the situation 1 lap later on lap number 3. They both go wide. I think he overcorrected himself, the Frenchman, so I'm going to go up his inside. Remember, don't outbrake yourself once you've got the move done. The German cutting the corner there. I managed to stick to the circuit, coming through the penultimate turn, keeping this position of 3rd. Let's see what we can do from here. Guy in 1st place has raced a solid race, and he's done what I said in the start of this race. If you can get in the lead, set yourself a clean lap, because of course clean laps are better than dirty laps no matter how fast your dirty lap is. You can keep getting yourself on pole position, and I think he did that for a few races. Get out in the lead, set yourself a clean lap because you've got clean air, and then just keep getting pole position. You can get a nice chain if you can keep doing that. So into the hairpin, I get tapped wide. This is lap number 4, and I think he knew what he was doing. I think he knew that he did that by accident, so he did let me back past there quite nicely. And this is the situation at the very end of the race. Looking behind there, it's all kicked off at the hairpin, and then we finished 2nd in the end. So another race around Sonoma, but this time it's the different configuration, and if I'm honest, it's the configuration I prefer. So coming through turn 1 on lap number 1 in 4th, but now 3rd. That was Fat Red John getting a little bit too wide there. I'm going to cut across him here to maintain 3rd position, and looking at the back of 2nd now, very close. 1st place is going to get away a little bit here because I felt that 2nd place was a little bit slow here. Perhaps it was his 1st race in this car or something. but he was a little bit slow for a while, losing me a little bit of time, and I was always a bit worried that I was going to get overtaken from behind. But into the left-hander, get on the inside line, don't make contact with him. He actually gives me quite a lot of room there, so that was very compliant racing from the two of us. So through into second, and this hairpin here, I misjudged it a couple of times. Very sharp, I go very wide, but on the exit it opens up quite nicely. So someone tries to come up me inside there, but I think he was scared that he was going to go into me on the outside, so he left me plenty of room. So halfway through lap number 2, I've caught up with first place. Let's see what we can do about that. Coming through the S's here, over the hill and into the right-hander. I've got the inside line. Don't get on the brakes too late. Make sure you don't go into the other guy. We do make a bit of contact there, but coming through the right-hander, just about managed to get the line. Move over to the left-hand side to defend the position and keep it through the long left. And at the end of the race, winning that race quite comfortably in the end. So I'm going to move to my final clip here. Probably my best clip that I'm going to show you today. So coming through the tunnel at Prague, I'm going to move to the inside to make him go a little bit defensive. Then I'm going to plant the car all the way around the outside. Look at this. I'm going to keep my foot in, go round all the way around the outside on the longest corner on the circuit probably. Move across to the left just to keep the position. That's Ivor Biggin coming through into second, and I'm going to just cover the road there so he can't go anywhere. Coming through here, you really have to be very careful to avoid hitting the wall. Keep off the throttle on those curbs. This is the situation at the end of lap 3, the end of the race. Ivor Biggin doesn't get the best run through here. I got the inside and into the final turn. I wasn't quite sure where he was going to go. I thought he was going to do a cutback, so I parked on the apex, but he actually went around the outside, so it's very good driving from him. Very close finish. This was actually the last race we did, so a good finish at the end there for the session. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. I enjoyed this league. It was a good league actually. This car is actually a very good car to drive. It's challenging. It's not the easiest car to drive at all. If you want some more tips, of course, just ask in the comments section. I'll try and get back to you if you want any more advice on how to drive this car. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for everyone in this lobby, because it was a good lobby actually. The racing was very good, and I hope to see you in the next one. Hit the like button if you did like this video, subscribe if you want to see more of the same, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.